So this is my update on all my craziness. Excuse how I look. I actually just fell asleep for a little bit and woke up. So you get my hair up in a ponytail and me in this lovely giant men's sweatshirt. That's one of the only things that fits over my belly. So anyways, okay, so I had my appointment update yesterday on Monday and found out a bunch of stuff about that. And then I also had her ultrasound today. So I'm going to go over her ultrasound first, and then we'll get to all of my stuff. So I am 29 weeks and 2 days today, and her measurements, well, first of all, she's breech again, but she is butt down, and she has her legs like up over her head, and her arms up here. The tech said basically she's in like a pike position, like a diver. Like, of course she is, because she can't ever just be normal. So, she had a little bit of difficulty again getting the heart, but she did get it this time, and she said it looks great. All the chambers look good, both sides look good, everything. She said it looks good. So finally we got that. She wasn't facing my spine this time, so we could get it, but because she had her arms up like this, her elbow was right over where, like where her heart was, and it was just kind of making a shadow and making it hard to get like a clear picture, but she finally got it. She's moving around like crazy. I told the girl, I said she hates when anything pushes on my stomach, and man, did she this time. She was all over the place. So, for her measurements, her BPD, or the from side to side on her head, she measured 28 weeks and 2 days, or 12th percentile. Her head circumference was 28 weeks and 5 days, so 27th percentile. Her abdomen circumference was 28 weeks and 5 days also, and that was 25th percentile. Her femur length is 27 weeks and 5 days, so 5th percentile. And her humerus was 27 weeks and 5 days, and that was 11th percentile. She didn't measure the ulna this time, but that's fine. That one was pretty much dead on last time. So the long bones, the humerus and the femur, are really the ones that they were looking at. Her heart rate was 153, and she actually turned the sound on this time, like had me listen to it, which I just heard it on the Doppler, but it's funny, it sounds so different between the Doppler and the ultrasound machine. I never really noticed the difference until today. So, I was like, oh, okay, the femur's still behind, a little bit more behind than the rest of her, but, it's growing still fine. I think at this point it would be starting to fall behind more, if that was an issue and if she did have Down syndrome. She weighs 2 pounds, 11 ounces, so she has definitely grown. And off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember, I think she was 1 pound, 6 ounces the last time I was in. So she, like I said, I definitely had a growth spurt. And I think she's supposed to be around like 3 pounds right now. So, she's overall, with all her measurements and everything, she's in the 34th percentile, and her AUA, which is like her age based on the measurements, is 28 weeks and 5 days. So it's closer this time, I think, than it was last time to my actual gestational age, which is 29 weeks and 2 days. So the doctor came in and she said she looks great. She said the heart looks great. Weight, she's perfectly fine with her weight being where it's at, and her, she said the femur length, it's fine. I said, I'm glad it's not in the less than 2 percentile this time, and she said, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with where it's at. It's perfect. So finally, she gets the all clear, and she's great, and now I'm falling apart. At least we're taking turns, right? We're being polite. So, so I put on my Facebook, and a lot of the people on Facebook gave me feedback and really, really put my mind at ease over the weekend. So thank you all so much for that. It really, really did help. I'm so glad I ended up posting. But I got an email on Friday saying that my test results were on the patient portal for like the doctor's website. So I get on there and look at them. I failed my glucose test, and I'm anemic. So it says to call to like set up, talk to a nurse about setting up an appointment with like a diabetic counselor or whatever, and to schedule the 3-hour glucose test. At this point, I had no idea if this meant, like, failing the 1 hour meant I had gestational diabetes, or just that I failed this one and was going to need the 3-hour one. A lot of you told me that it didn't mean I necessarily had it. It just meant I was gonna need the 3-hour one. So I started like freaking out, and I tried to call the doctor's office to see, talk to them about it and find out what exactly everything means, and they're closed for the weekend. I'm like, really? Thank you for giving me this information, making me freak out when I'm supposed to be having a relaxing weekend and keeping my blood pressure down, and then not like following up at all. So, like I said, you ladies really helped and helped calm me down, so I was pretty much relaxed after that. My numbers were 184, and it should have been under 130. So I really failed. Like I said, I knew I was going to. I was shaky, and my heart felt like it was going to explode, and I was sweating, and from that reaction, I knew it. I knew I was going to fail. So, the plan for that is, she said, because I'm already on the metformin, I'm taking the metformin still, and I'm on 1,000 milligrams twice a day. So the plan for that, she said, because you failed this one so much and because you're already on the metformin, she said, it's very likely that you're going to fail the 3-hour. So I really don't see a point in doing it, because clearly you had like a reaction to it. And I agreed wholeheartedly. I don't want to do the 3-hour one. I don't want to feel like that again. I didn't feel right the entire rest of the weekend. It just felt off and weird, and it felt like it messed with everything. It messed with the way my body was processing everything the rest of the weekend. So I would prefer not to, because I'm sure it isn't good for me, and I'm sure it isn't good for her. So she has me, she basically said we don't know if I have gestational diabetes, but we're basically going to just treat it like I do, and I'm going to start monitoring. So I already have the thing that you poke yourself with and do the reading and everything. I already have one of those that my endocrinologist gave me earlier on in the pregnancy, so that I could randomly check it here and there, because she said, they're not going to do this until 28 weeks, so I want you to try to keep an eye on it yourself, which I only did it like once or twice, but when I did, it was normal. So, so I started that today. I have to do fasting when I get up, which has to be under 90, and then I have to do it 2 hours after breakfast, 2 hours after lunch, and 2 hours after dinner, and those are all supposed to be under 120. So today was my first day doing it, and my morning one was 184 or 80. 86. I think it was 84 or 86. I can't remember which one. So that was my fasting. That was supposed to be under 90, so that was fine. 2 hours after breakfast, it was 105. 2 hours after lunch, it was 106. And then 2 hours after dinner, it was 87. Like, it's supposed to be under 120. So my after dinner 2 hours was less than what the fasting one is even supposed to be. So I think it's fine. Like I said, I feel normal on a daily basis. I know I can feel when my blood sugar goes up, and I don't have that on a daily basis. It's normal. So, we'll see. I don't know how long I'm supposed to do this for. I go back on Friday, but that's mainly for the blood pressure stuff. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I go back on Friday, and I'm gonna find out. I talked to the doctor that I saw for the ultrasound today. They're actually at the hospital, and those are the high-risk obese. So she actually gave me instructions to check back with her as well. And so I have to call Friday and tell them all of my readings for my blood sugar and my blood pressure for the rest of the week. I have to tell them, and then I also tell my OB when I go for my appointment on Friday. So Monday when I got there, I had done the 24-hour urine, so I dropped that off. And then they took my blood pressure and it was 130 over 80. And I went, oh, sweet. And she was like, yeah, that's still high. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought 130 was normal, but no, I guess under 120 is normal. I don't know. So she's like, no, that's still high. And she's like, can you go to the bathroom at all? And I'm like, oh, I could probably try. And she's like, oh, that's fine. I'll just dip this. I'm like, really? I just gave you all of my pee from the last 24 hours. You need me to pee in a cup now? But clearly I didn't say that. But so they must have just tested that, or they didn't test it like right then. So the concern is that it's so early and my blood pressure is high. Hi, I'm back. So I realized while I was editing that I forgot to say, the one thing that my OB did was, for the blood pressure, I am actually on what she called modified bed rest for the rest of the week, for 2 hours twice a day, so like 2 hours in the late morning and 2 hours in the evening. I have to lay on my left side and just, I guess, try to get my blood pressure down that way. I don't really know exactly what it does, but that was one other thing that I forgot to put in there, so I'm just sticking this in real quick. So, okay, back to the video. So she also has me doing my blood pressure. I can't remember if she said once or twice a day. I feel like she said twice a day, but the doctor today just kind of made it seem like once a day was fine. So I'm doing that, and I had to go buy a blood pressure cuff, and of course I have no idea how to take my blood pressure, so I bought one of the, like, it has like a screen and it just comes up and tells you. So I bought one of those, and I took it for the first time this morning, like right after I got up, and it was 142 over 86. So still high, and higher than it was on Friday. I don't know how accurate this thing is, and like I said, it's the first time I've ever done it, and I think I did it right. We'll see. So the results of my 24-hour urine I actually got today, like right after I left the hospital, which I wish I would have gotten the email that they were in before, because I wanted to tell that doctor what the results were, because she was asking if they had checked my creatinine and all of that, and I didn't even know what creatinine was. And I said, I don't know, they didn't take blood, but they had the 24-hour urine, and I just didn't have the results yet. So she wants to know the results of that. But, so my creatinine, which I Googled, and it's to check your kidney function. My creatinine is normal, so that was good. It was like right in the middle of where it was supposed to be. I don't remember like the parameters or what it was, but it was right in the middle of where it was supposed to be. My protein to creatinine ratio, it's a lot to say, was high. It was 136, and it was supposed to be equal to or less than 84. And then my protein was high. It was 180 and should have been less than 150. But when they gave me like a generalized, like it says at the top, your results are normal, high, this, that, whatever. It said your urine results are normal. You left before we could get blood work. So we'll do blood work on Friday. Well, nobody told me I needed blood work, so clearly I left before I got it. So, I don't know. I don't really understand what. I know they look for protein in your urine for the preeclampsia, but I don't really understand what the protein in the urine means. Like, I don't understand the correlation between the two. But I just know that protein in your urine is bad. I don't necessarily know what it means. So, I think that's it. Oh, so I told the doctor at the hospital all of this information, and she said she's concerned that it's so early and that my blood pressure is high, and she said that when I'm checking my blood pressure, if the top number is over 150 or the bottom number is over 100, that I am supposed to call immediately. And then she goes, actually, you don't even have to call. She's like, just come in at triage. She goes, because at that point you're probably going to need to be hospitalized. I'm like, great. So it was 142 over 86 this morning. So how close is that to it being 150? So I'm really not trying to spend the rest of my pregnancy in the hospital. So think very calming thoughts for me, please. I feel okay. I don't really get headaches. Like, if I get like worked up about something, like I can kind of feel my like heartbeat or whatever. But I don't feel like, you know, they're supposed to have watch for blurred vision and headaches. And she said a headache that Tylenol won't take care of. So I'm assuming these tiny little dull aches that I get every now and then are nothing. So, so yeah, headaches, blurred vision, pain on your left side, I think she said. Like a deep pain, or if she is not moving as much, because it can really affect her. But she's been crazy active, and all of her heart rate has been great and everything. So she's doing good. Just keep me on track. I know I've talked about my obsession with nerds, and I actually quit eating them. When I failed the glucose test, I'm like, okay, that's it. Because I literally would sit there and just eat nerds all day. Like, just constantly. Like, bored, have a handful of nerds. So, it felt like when I quit smoking. Like, it was like giving me anxiety the first day that I wasn't eating them. Like, crazy. Like, pregnancy cravings are no joke. So, that's pretty much it. This is getting pretty long. So, I'm going to go no belly shot because I just did one and I'm in this giant sweatshirt. So I'll probably update probably like on Saturday, maybe Friday. Friday's Jason's birthday, and so I have my appointment in the morning, and I think we're going to dinner and stuff, so I'm not really sure how the weekend will go. But I will update when there's information. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your positive feedback and support on Facebook, and I'll see you later. Bye!